Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about small goals. I think we've all heard of small goals. Are they beneficial? Are they not? Does it build momentum? Does it actually gain clarity on where we're going to go? So I thought it'd be helpful. I know I've been trying to use smaller goals. I've been getting off track a little bit on some things like sales and marketing, some of these things that I'm really trying to develop and help other people in their own businesses. So when you get a little off track, I think small goals can be a great tool in the tool belt. So we're going to go over some pros and we're going to go over some cons of small goals, and stick around till the very end because we'll have a little bit of coaching homework to help you get back on track and achieve your own goals. Thanks, folks. It's going to be a good episode. Cheers, friends. Let's enjoy. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Terra Morning Show, where we go over tips, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best person you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about small goals. Small goals. We've heard about these a lot in personal development in this space, but how do they actually apply to us? And also, what are the pros and cons of it? I think I've literally read two different books. One saying small goals are not enough. It doesn't mean anything. It can't get anything done. And I've also read that small goals, small baby steps, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So I think we get both ends of the spectrum a lot, whether it's the pros of small goals or the cons, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of just break down each side. I did some research, wrote down a bunch of notes, and I thought, okay, these are the tips and ideas I'm trying to use for myself. So might as well make a morning show out of it, right? So that's the theme with this show, is I'm kind of just fixing my own life, and then hopefully you guys can fix your own as well. So we're going to get into the pros first. We're going to talk about the good stuff of small goals, because I do believe there's more pros to the cons, but you'll have to be the judge as we get closer towards the end of the episode and we break down some of the cons. All right. Small goals is the topic for today. Small goals. So maybe you got out a journaling, a piece of paper, or you can always pause and you can rewatch all of our stuff if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel or other social medias. This stuff will be on the internet forever. So feel free to come back. But I do row with pen and paper and just writing out kind of like which ones mean to me, because it's probably only one or two of them that are really going to hit home. But all right, sweet. All right, the first pro that we have for number one for small goals on my notes is we have achievability. We can achieve. Achievability. So the first one is achieving it. There's something taking it from Jim Rohn, one of my favorite speakers. We are so skeptical as human beings. We tend to be very skeptical, not believing. We need evidence. We need evidence that this is going to work, that we want to do it, or we don't even believe that we're capable of doing it. Something like going back to college and getting a degree, or completely changing jobs, or starting your own business, losing that weight that we've been wanting to lose. Something we don't even believe we can achieve it. So that's where the first pro of small goals comes in, is we believe, people genuinely believe that we can achieve. And if your mindset is screwed up and it's to shit, then man, you are going to be swimming upstream. It's going to be really tough, because if you don't believe in it, nobody else will. So this kind of all about belief and a little bit of mindset, but just the achievement, I think, is in the mindset, and it's achievable. We haven't done it yet, but it's achievable. Okay, awesome. Achievability comes in at number one for our pros list of creating small goals. Number two on our list is momentum. That's a 3. Okay, we're on number 2. Momentum. All right, momentum. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. We hear these laws all the time, but how often do we remember to apply them to our old lives? I know life gets crazy. Everyone puts on the busy badge Monday morning. I got to go to work. I got to lose weight. I got to eat right. I got to take care of my family. It's a laundry list of stuff to do. So, to keep the momentum going, I believe small goals can be just that. Small goals can be something that's achievable, and then we can gain some momentum on it. Gain some momentum. So we want to really take in this Newton's law of just objects in motion tend to stay some motion. So where can you build a little momentum today? Is it in your mindset? Is it in your workouts? Is it in your work at home? What are we doing here? So number 2 on pros for small goals is I think it's momentum based, gaining momentum on the things that we want to do, whether it's health, wealth, or relationships, and dive a little deeper into each one of those. So momentum, gaining momentum. The snowball rolls downhill. Awesome. All right. On to number 3. That would be clarity. I like small goals because I can actually see what the hell it is I am trying to do. Sometimes with really big goals and big visions, I help people put together life plans. Enjoy the present moment, put together this life plan, share your story with the world, and let's make money off of it together. But when we have something so big and we're going over all these topics, that's why most of my relationships are 3 to 6 months, because it takes some time. These small goals, I like them because it can give so much more clarity on what it is I need to do today. Clarity on today. Emphasize this today. There is no tomorrow. This tomorrow shit's a bunch of garbage. Like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And it's like, dude, tomorrow never comes. It's just, and then the next reason comes up, the next excuse, the next thing. So pushing stuff off. That's why I like small goals, is because we can clarify something to do today. So number 3 on our pros list for small goals, it would be clarity. Having clarity on what it is I want to do today. So ask yourself this morning, folks, what are we running? When we're running through our notes, when we're writing in our journals, what can I do today? And just get a really clear game plan and start small. Some people make small goals these giant laundry lists, and there's like 30 of them. And it's like, those are, it kind of, yes, those all individual tasks are small, I suppose, but really, you want to just pick 1 or 2 things, and that'll be part of the homework here at the end. So stick around for the homework. But that's on our number list for pros of small goals would be clarity, just being very clear on what it is that we really want to do. Next up, we have flexibility. Small goals tend to be flexible, low pressure. So flexible. As entrepreneurs, as parents, as lovers, as friends, I believe flexibility is key in our success. And I think this comes in at number 4 for pros for small goals. Flexibility is a delicate dance, and I think it depends on who we are as people, the situation involved, and this is going to have to take some common sense, or like my old mentor used to say, some common fucking sense on what it is we want to be doing, because we need to be very flexible, but we also don't want to be just procrastinating and confusing that word with flexibility. So we can be flexible, we can pivot, we cannot put so much pressure on ourselves, which I'm going to be my own worst enemy. You're going to be your own worst enemy. The thought loops in our head, the negative thoughts and stuff, that stuff's going to really, really kick us in the butt 100 times over. So we got to be really careful of this. We want to stay flexible, but disciplined. Flexible, but disciplined. Awesome. All right. Number 4, flexible. Being a little flexible. Maybe we need to pivot. We need to change a little bit on what we're focusing on. Maybe it's not reading books, but maybe we're doing a little writing today. Maybe we're not too focused on meal prepping, but we're really working on our exercise. So we're really trying to be flexible with our lives and what's called for, but we want to be useful. As Arnold Schwarzenegger always says, we want to be useful. Awesome. And the last one is consistency. Number 5, small goals can help us be consistent. Coming from the Consistency King, coming at 497 this morning. Good morning, everyone. This is episode 497, folks. Running through. You can check them all. They're all on YouTube. But being consistent, I believe, is king. And you can set small goals. For example, one of my small goals is I just want to do a morning show every weekday morning and try to be as consistent as possible. There's this rule that I really like with consistency, and it's 1 but never 2. 1 but not 2. 1 but not 2. What does this mean? So sometimes you're going to need to take a day off. Sometimes you're going to have to take a day off your reading. Sometimes you're going to have to take a day off your writing. Sometimes you're just going to have to take a day off, but only for 1 day and not 2 days. Because if it turns into that 2 days, it probably turns into that 3 days. It turns into that 4 days, and so on and so forth. And then what? We quit. We got to be, and we know that the ultimate sin in any endeavor is quitting. So 1 but never 2 is something that I personally use. There's been weekday mornings where I haven't done the morning show, and I was just feeling terrible, or I was really tired, or life being life, right? It gets us all. So 1 but never 2, I think, is one of my favorite rules for consistency. So this was the pros list for small goals. Why use small goals? Maybe thinking of your writing goals, your reading your goals, your business goals, your health goals, your relationship goals. Thinking, what are some small ones? Maybe you call 1 person today. Maybe you reach out to 2 people today for networking, try and find some clients. What are the small goals that you can do that are achievable, that will help build momentum, give us that clarity on what we need to do today, stay flexible, and be consistent. So this is a powerhouse of 5 on why small goals are good. So in the homework, keep sticking around to the end, but we'll be writing down 2, try and write down 2 small goals that we can set for ourselves today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow. Awesome. All right, we're on to the cons list, because it's not all perfect, right? There is some cons to setting small goals. Sorry, folks, I need a drink of water. Good morning. Good morning. Awesome. So our first con on our list for small goals would be limited scope and vision. Limited scope, vision. If we haven't created a big vision, we've been too intimidated by it. It's ever changing. I really don't know what I want to do with my life, T-Dog. Coach T-Dog, what do I do for the long haul? It turns out that having that long-term scope and that long-term vision really does help us work backwards. The thing I think I'm taking a lot of pressure off of myself is that this doesn't need to be perfect. I don't need to know exactly what I'm going to be doing 30 years from now. It's pretty much impossible to tell. I change my mind every 30 days on what I want to do for business, what I want to do this, and it's completely natural. People do it all the time. People pivot and change it. I was just reading this book on Henry Ford. I didn't even know he used to race cars. People do different things all the time in different chapters of their lives, so don't be too harsh on yourself on this. But having a scope and vision is really good for clarity purposes when you try to break down and work backwards. It's like, okay, I want to make $100 million in revenue for this company. What can I do today to make that? So this connection can be, if we don't have that connection, it can kind of be hard to pick something. I think that's at least what's been my biggest pain in the butt. Sometimes if you don't anchor this vision for the future and this really big goal, and sometimes it's hard to strip it down into smaller goals because it doesn't feel like you're going in the right direction, whatever. Okay. Number 2 on our list would be complacency. So sometimes we can be a little complacent, and we're just so uncomfortable with being uncomfortable that we're not really willing to do much. We're only willing to do a tiny little thing. It's really hard to write a book if you do 1 word a day. That it's going to take you a long, long time. So sometimes it can come to complacency. What was I having down here on the notes? lead to if individuals become too comfortable with incremental progress, there's a risk of mediocrity rather than pushing beyond comfort zones. So it's essentially just talking about pushing beyond comfort zones and getting a little more comfortable with that. So we can get comfortable, we can get a little complacent, and that's why it made our list for cons. Awesome. All right, the next one we have is underestimate. Look, I need another piece of chalk, folks. I'm burning through them today. Good morning, everyone. So our third on why the cons of small goals, because we need to know the pros and the cons before we make decisions. I would say underestimate. I think we tend to, when we first get started on something, underestimate. When we first get started within anything, whether you're doing a podcast show, you're writing a book, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to lose weight, whatever personal development journey we're on, I think we can, when we do small goals, we can underestimate ourselves a little bit, and that'd be a con. So underestimating yourself on getting started. For me, I think the pro of just building a little momentum outweighs this con of underestimating, but it made the list because we tend to, if it's too small, we are underestimating ourselves. We have the ability to do more. Okay. Number 4 is actually a con is focus. Focus and fragmented focus is really what I was getting at in my notes when I was writing these out this morning, was just fragmented focus. If you got all these tiny little small goals, be very careful. That's why I only picked 2. So that's why I write down pick 2 to help alleviate this. I've worked with people in the past and myself, and I'll write out 200 little tiny goals, and then it's kind of just like one big jumbled confusing mess really at the end of the day. So fragmented focus, be careful on this, because focus is absolutely key in getting any endeavor done. So that would be a con on, in my opinion, on the small goals list, is just pick 2, not 100 to get started. Awesome. Just 1 or 2. All right. And the last one is lack of meaning. So this is the last and final con, is lack of meaning. Okay, I want you to think of something that you did that was really, really hard. It took a long time. How did it feel? Absolutely freaking amazing, T-Dog. I can't believe I accomplished that. I feel great. Yes, these big, powerful goals give this meaning to us, this purpose, this fulfillment. And that would be a con on some of these small goals. It's like, okay, just take out the trash and vacuum the floor. You got a nasty house. You need to pick stuff up. You got to start somewhere. You're organizing. It's total chaos. You got to just pick one item. Sometimes the con would be, it just doesn't mean a lot to us. But this is just a mindset issue. I think these cons can be overcome very easily. First off, okay, let's review the cons. Let's review the cons and then do a little segment on how we can maybe overcome a couple of them. Limited scope and vision. If you don't know what you want to do for a vision in the long term, maybe you write out what you don't want to do. Do you not want to be in a factory? Do you not want to live in Mexico? Do you not want to do this? Do you not, like, just thinking of a bunch of stuff that you don't want to do, and then maybe try and work backwards to what do you want to do 10 years from today? What is your perfect day? What's your lifestyle? All this and that. And then I like to create my lifestyle and then pick my career to match my lifestyle. I think a lot of people get this backwards. So just start. You can set up a call with me. My website's in the link below. I have this whole, we spend 2 full weeks on vision and creating and posting and all that kind of crap. So, all right, you can check that out in the link description, but limited scope and vision. Number 2, complacency. How could we overcome complacency? I think these 2 and 3, I would almost put them together. Complacency and underestimate yourself. Your friends can't do this for you. Your family can't do this for you. But really think to yourself, what have I accomplished? And what would be one step ahead of that? Or what have I done in the last week? And what would be one step of that? I think that wouldn't be very complacent. I think that's progress. And that's really the word that we're trying to get out. Just something that, what is progress to you? And being very honest with yourself. Okay, I haven't worked out in the last week. 10 minutes today sounds like a really good goal to me. I don't think that's being complacent or underestimated. focus, picking one or two. So that's really the homework for today. That's really the homework for today is I want you to just write out 2 small goals, 2 small ones, maybe one for relationships. You call that friend who you haven't talked to in a long time. Or number 2, you read a personal development book, you read 10 pages of it, like something small. So you're just picking 2 and then let the rest fall play and just make sure that we get these done. The real priorities, we get those done before we go run around fun play. Lack of meaning. This one is definitely, I think, all mindset. We can just overcome this with the mindset. I give myself meaning to wash the dishes now and cleaning up the house. I cleaned up the pond yesterday. We have a pond here and it was absolutely disgusting, but the sun was coming down, it was beating on me. I was cleaning out. It felt very satisfying and I felt very I was just happy to be outside and to be working on something and have the privilege of having like a pond and a water feature at our house. So awesome. Lack of meaning, I think that can be overcome with mindset. Awesome. So these were the pros and the cons of small goals. For you, the homework would be to just write out 2 small goals that you would want to achieve today. What would make today great? What would make today great? Focus on that word, great. Let's make today great with 2 small goals. Look at these pros, look at the cons, kind of weigh them out for yourself when you're doing your next goal setting session. If you need help with setting your goals, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can DM me on social medias, or you can just, there's a website link. I always do the first couple of weeks of my stuff for free to just try and help people and give them resources at a 0 cost way. But so let's make today great. Let's pick a couple small goals that we can smash so we can make them. Just make sure when you make these 2 goals that they are achievable. They can give some momentum. You have clarity on really what they are. They're flexible and consistent. Awesome. All right, folks, that's all I have for today is I wanted to break down small goals, what they meant for me. Do they work? Do they not work? I know as of late, I just get off track with some of my business stuff. The spring times here, our rental properties, we're mowing and working, doing a lot of outside work. And I absolutely love it because it's really recharged my batteries. Feels like getting outside and getting some sunlight has really alleviated a lot of anxiety in my chest. But staying consistent with this business stuff is hard as hell. So if you need support along your journey, please don't hesitate. And also, if you know someone who could benefit from setting some smaller goals, from understanding the pros and cons of them, please share this video with them, and hopefully they can benefit their own day. Because we want to bring a 0 cost way to help others achieve their goals as well. Awesome. All right. Pros and cons of small goals, everybody. That's all I have for today. You guys have an awesome, incredible day. In case you need to hear it, I love you. You're badass. You got this. Let's smash out some small goals today. I'll see you bright and early on another episode of the Talk to Your Morning Show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Cheers, friends. I'm out of here. Peace.